Yo, it's Batman Mo back with Media. And this is part two of Mind and Matter. Now, if you ain't watched part one, go make sure you go back and watch part one. Now, I talked about Tahuti, how Tahuti represents the knowing aspect. Now, Tahuti is a spirit guide of mind, and Tahuti is also the knowing aspect of the mind. So remember, these entities also can embody human form. At one point in time, they have when he was in Atlantis, right? So Tahuti, he comes to me and sends me downloads of information when it comes to the cosmos. So, when you talk about Archangel Michael is also related to Tahuti or Melchizedek. So, the order of Melchizedek, or the understanding of how, even though this order is not necessarily down on earth, it's in heaven, and they have a hierarchy in heaven as well, but they have a hierarchy that works when you're talking about in terms of being initiated into a spiritual system. So basically, I would be initiated into the spiritual system of the Kemetic teachings, but also when you're talking about knowledge of the universe. Sometimes, I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, sometimes it don't even be necessarily, it be research, but a lot of times it be the connection between mind and matter. And this is why I talk about mind and matter, because it's the connection between mind and matter, literally. Like, as you think and you start to think on esoteric thoughts, and you think into these deeper thoughts of yourself, and you go inside and you feel and you understand, then you start to be able to resonate with certain frequencies. As you do this, as you're resonating with certain fields, electromagnetic fields, you can actually start to receive this information, or not even receive it, it's already there, or it can be expressed in your DNA. So the key is to understand how mind and matter correlate and how they work. So when you dealing, so and also, before I continue to get to what I was going to, also I want to say shout out Dr. Malachi Z. York. Even though he was locked up, even though he's innocent, I'm not going to speak too much on that. All I'm going to say is that we know the real teachings, and we know that we know the information that the Nubians brought. We know the information that Nupu, or that Nuapu, or where we talk about us being non-ether beings, us being conscious beings. We know where this information comes from, Egypt. So regardless of what anybody says, remember all of this information. When you talk about where were these people going in these spiritual systems, they were going to Egypt. They always went to Egypt. Why did they go to Egypt? Because Egypt always knew the real. When it comes to the cosmos and it comes to history, not even just history, when it comes to the cosmos and when it comes to spirituality, they understood it on a whole nother level. When we fell in frequency, we lost this information. But now we're gaining it back again. So, as above, so below, as within, as without. What is within you is also outside of you. You have to understand and correlate that the spirit, and when the spirit and consciousness meet, you have creation. So what you're getting at is the every element that you see is a solar system from the previous universe. Now, what am I saying? Atoms have these atoms that they call atoms are actually solar systems for the previous universe. And remember, each universe is going to expand and be larger than the last one. So when you talk about they don't understand the expansion of dark matter, dark energy, they don't understand how universes can be created and be a unit in existence, and how the decay from the previous universe can be the matter infused with consciousness for the present universe. So what am I saying? That this is a sun, or the nucleus, in a single planet. They say, Western science says it's a atom. It's a proton, neutron, electron. It's a sun in a single planet. Now, this is black root science. This is the science that is taught by the Egyptians. This is the science that is taught by the ancient Kemetics. So we know that every element comes from hydrogen, but in order to create a new universe, you have to have the you have to have the elements from the previous universe, and these elements were solar systems, but they become elements of this universe. You understand how you understand how everything decays, and as it decays, it goes down and down and down in vibration, and the things that are above float on top. So this is why you have these hydrogen up top. But you understand that all the other forms of matter, and we talk about we talking about gases, all of your gases and your what they call subatomic particles, which are points in existence. Are you talking about how points sum up to things? So you would have three sets of three in dark matter, dark energy. But what I'm getting at is before that, before I even get there, but what they don't teach you is everything comes from the mind first. So the mind, or the mind of the all, produces or condenses part of his mind. And then this condensing the part of the mind, it creates magnetism. And this magnetism will further condense and create electrical charges. So you have positive and negative electrical charges. You have electricity. So you have parts of the mind that are like a circle. You have parts of the mind that are actually, you know, what you call creating dark matter and dark energy at the same time, in the same time and space. So, I mean, at first it would be time, then it would be space. So you would have the mind that creates magnetism, and then you create electricity, and this electricity, and then creating electricity and magnetism, it creates time. And in time, then you have space that can be created in time. So once it creates light, you are able to create time, and once you create time, you are able to create space, and once you create space, the mind still occupies that same space. So basically, you have, like I was saying in the last video, you had the seven substances. You understand, after you have the mind, the magnetism, uh, electricity, then light, then ether, space, then gas, solid, liquid. So everything is on a spectrum, on an electromagnetic spectrum. And so everything comes, when you talk about consciousness, it comes down from angles of light. But the matter from the previous universe is what is utilized to create a nine ether egg or a womb, so that when the cycles of time come back around, it can hit that matter or that womb or that nine ether egg, and it can actually or this three sets of three in triple blackness, and it can create a sun. And once it creates which is this conversion to hydrogen, and from hydrogen to helium, it creates a sun. So once a sun is created, a sun, it was what gives off light. So this is where you're talking about them being able to be masters of matter. Then from hydrogen down through the elements, all the other elements in this universe can sink into whatever place it needs to be because of the density, or what they talk about, mass or gravity or volume. The understanding of how the things like gold and the things that have a stronger magnetic bond will sink into the crust of the earth. But the things that have less magnetic bonds, like a hydrogen atom compared to a gold, or compared to copper or silver, a metal versus a gas, there's a difference between those. So especially on the spectrum, even seeing that a gas can even reach up to gamma rays, you understand? So the cosmic rays being above that, you understand that the electromagnetic spectrum rules everything when you're talking about electricity and magnetism. So, but magnetism comes first in the mind, and the mind condenses itself to produce this. So masters of matter is them understanding how the mind can produce any substance through knowing how to bond atoms, which they call chemistry, or how to bond universes when you talk about solar systems from the previous universe. So And in the next video, I'm gonna get into some more about this, but